The laughter was the worst part. The cake didn't just fall, it splattered. My graduation cake, the one I'd saved for and picked out myself, hit the patio like a slap in the face. Vanilla and strawberry layers oozed between the bricks. And then my nephew, 12 and smug, grinned down at it and said, "If you want it that bad, Uncle Ryan, eat it off the ground." The guests chuckled. My sister Allison gave a tight, proud smile like she just watched her son win a spelling bee. And me, I stood there, holding the knife I was supposed to use to cut the cake, shaking. But I didn't shout, I didn't cry. I just stared at them all, my family, and realized this wasn't a one-time humiliation. This was just another scene in a lifelong play where I was the punchline. I'm Ryan Turner, 23 years old, and apparently still the family's afterthought. That cake had been for my college graduation, the first in our family, but Allison's son Carter had accidentally knocked it off the table, except everyone saw his smirk before he did it, and everyone pretended not to. I wish I could say it started that day, but it didn't. It started the moment Allison learned she could do no wrong. Growing up, Allison was the family miracle, straight-A student, homecoming queen, their pride and joy. When she got pregnant at 19, our parents still called her brave. When I got my first D in high school, they called me a disappointment. I remember hearing Mom tell a neighbor once, "Ryan's a sweet boy, but Allison, she's special." That line stuck with me for years like a splinter. While Allison stayed home with Carter, our parents paid her rent, her car, her everything. When I moved out for college, I worked 2 part-time jobs just to afford textbooks. Every time I called, Mom asked about Allison first. "Your sister says Carter's reading at a 5th grade level." I'd reply, "I just made the dean's list." "Oh, that's nice, honey. Anyway, did you know Carter?" Click, my achievements were invisible. Graduation day was supposed to change that. I imagined our parents proud, maybe even teary-eyed. I wanted to feel seen. So I saved for a small backyard party. I bought the decorations, the food, even the cake, white frosting, blue lettering. "Congratulations, Ryan." It felt like a step into my own future, until Carter smirked and shoved it off the table. No one said anything. My dad turned away. My mom laughed awkwardly. "Allison, say something to your kid," I muttered. She shrugged. "It was an accident, don't be dramatic." I looked down at the ruined cake, my reflection warped in melted frosting. That was when something inside me went still. Fine, I thought, you win today, but I'll remember this. That night I cleaned up alone. Every plate, every chair, they'd all gone inside. But as I scraped frosting from the floor, I made myself a promise. I would never, ever let them humiliate me again. Not through shouting, through success. I stopped attending family dinners. I didn't answer group texts. When Mom complained, I told her I was busy. Truth was, I was building something. I'd been offered a junior analyst role at a small investment firm. Nothing fancy, but it was a start. I threw myself into it, learned every skill I could, worked weekends, stayed late. Within a year, I'd earned a promotion, then another. Meanwhile, Allison called occasionally, always with subtle digs. "So you still working with spreadsheets, little brother? Must be nice not to have real responsibilities like raising a child." I just smiled. "Yeah, must be." Because I already knew, her perfect life was cracking. Rumors started small, Carter suspended for bullying, Allison arguing with teachers, her husband leaving for work trips that lasted weeks. Mom defended her every time. "She's just under stress. You know how hard it is being a single mom." I knew, but I also knew Allison never faced consequences, until now. A year later, my phone buzzed. "Allison." "Ryan's, hey, can we talk?" Her voice was small, unsure at first. She told me she needed help with bills. Her job had been cut, her husband had left for good. Every part of me wanted to say no, but instead, I offered her something better. "I can help," I said. "My company's hiring. Admin role, basic pay but stable." She jumped at it. Watching her walk into my office weeks later, seeing her nameplate under assistant to Ryan Turner, felt like quiet vindication. At work, the dynamic flipped. Allison couldn't charm her way out of deadlines. She couldn't guilt-trip coworkers. And when she snapped at someone, HR came to me. It wasn't revenge, not yet. It was accountability, something she'd never experienced. She lasted 3 months before showing her true colors, gossiping, undermining, taking credit for my reports. One afternoon, she accidentally sent a snide email about me to the whole department. I didn't yell, I forwarded it to HR, copied her. Professional, cold, controlled. She was demoted, her arrogance couldn't save her. But instead of pity, I felt peace. For once, she had to live with the consequences of her choices. Mum called. "Ryan, I can't believe you didn't protect your sister." I smiled. I didn't fire her, Mom, she fired herself. For the first time, Mom didn't have an answer. Carter, the golden nephew, started failing classes, got caught shoplifting. I heard through family gossip that Allison was embarrassed to go outside. Poetic, really. The same woman who once laughed while her son humiliated me now couldn't stand being looked at. A year later, an envelope arrived, Allison's birthday dinner. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but another part knew every story needs a closing scene. So I went. The dinner was quiet, awkward. When dessert came, a server brought out a small cake. "Congratulations on the new position, Ryan," Mom said. Turns out she'd finally accepted my success. Allison sat stiff, silent. After dinner, she pulled me aside. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For what?" Her eyes glossed. "For everything. I was jealous. You made it without anyone's help." I didn't respond. Some apologies come too late. Later, Carter mumbled, "Mom says you're her boss." "Used to be," I said, "but not anymore." I'd resigned the same week she'd been demoted, moving to a better firm. Freedom tastes better than revenge. 2 years passed. Allison's arrogance cost her every friend she had left. Carter moved out at 18, blaming her for everything. And Mom, she finally saw it. She called me one night and said, "I think we owe you an apology, son." When Dad got sick, the family reunited. Allison was distant, smaller somehow. I helped with hospital bills without mentioning it, not for forgiveness, for closure. When she thanked me through tears, I just said, "Everyone deserves a second chance to grow." I took mine. Months later, I was offered a teaching role at a local university, finance and ethics. Standing before my first class, I thought about that ruined cake. How humiliation had turned into motivation. And how sometimes the sweetest revenge is living with integrity when others don't. One Saturday, I passed a bakery. In the window sat a perfect white cake with blue frosting. "Congratulations." I bought it, took it home, cut one clean slice. And for the first time in years, it was just mine. No laughter, no sneers, just peace. Because sometimes justice doesn't come loud. It comes quietly, one calm, deliberate slice at a time.